Tensions between the United States and China are rising once again as a key tariff deadline draws near. What was once a simmering trade dispute has now escalated into a full-blown trade war, with both sides preparing for the next round of economic retaliation. The latest developments come as the U.S. prepares to activate a new wave of tariffs on hundreds of billions of dollars worth of Chinese goods. These tariffs are expected to take effect in just a few days unless a last-minute agreement is reached. So far, negotiations between Washington and Beijing have made little progress, and both sides appear to be digging in. The Biden administration has framed the tariffs as a necessary response to ongoing issues such as intellectual property theft, unfair trade practices, and industrial subsidies in China. Officials argue that previous efforts to engage diplomatically haven't yielded meaningful change, and that stronger measures are needed to level the playing field. China, however, sees things very differently. The Chinese government has called the tariffs unjustified and destructive, warning that they will retaliate with their own measures if the U.S. follows through. State media outlets have criticized the U.S. for what they describe as economic aggression, claiming that Washington is trying to contain China's rise by force rather than competition. As the deadline looms, businesses on both sides of the Pacific are growing nervous. American importers fear higher costs on goods ranging from electronics to clothing. Retailers are warning that the added expenses will likely be passed on to consumers, just as inflation remains a top concern in the U.S. economy. Meanwhile, Chinese exporters are bracing for a possible slowdown in orders from American buyers. Many small and medium-sized businesses in China rely heavily on U.S. markets, and they're already feeling the pressure of existing tariffs imposed during the Trump administration. The new round could push some companies to the brink. Analysts warn that if no resolution is found soon, the trade war could escalate further, leading to broader disruptions in the global economy. Financial markets have already shown signs of unease, with stocks dropping and investors moving to safer assets like gold and government bonds. Some experts also point out that the trade war is no longer just about goods. The conflict has expanded into technology, data security, and even geopolitical influence. In recent months, the U.S. has tightened export controls on high-tech components like semiconductors, while China has restricted access to key minerals needed for electronics and electric vehicles. The pressure is mounting on both governments. In the U.S., lawmakers are divided on how far to push China, with some calling for even harsher penalties and others warning that over-reliance on tariffs could backfire. In China, officials are balancing a tough stance with the need to maintain economic stability, especially as the country recovers from recent slowdowns in growth. Despite the harsh rhetoric, there's still a small window for diplomacy. Back-channel talks have continued quietly, and some trade experts believe a limited agreement could be reached to delay or reduce the scope of the new tariffs. However, the political climate in both countries makes compromise difficult. For now, the world is watching closely. The outcome of this latest chapter in the U.S. China trade war will have far-reaching consequences, not just for the two nations involved, but for the entire global economy. With the deadline just days away, the stakes couldn't be higher. Whether the two sides find common ground or head toward a deeper conflict, one thing is certain. The trade war is no longer just a threat, it's a reality with impacts felt around the world.